When it comes to calling a function, so far we have seen two places in which the name of the function can be placed. The first is infix. Infix refers to the fact that the function name sits in the middle of the arguments. We are quite comfortable with them when it comes to arithmetic functions because this is the way in which we learn mathematics at school. So for example, we have seen how plus, minus and multiplication can all be applied by placing them in the middle of the two arguments. Aside from arithmetic functions and Boolean operators, these are quite rare in Haskell. The second is prefix. Prefix functions place the function name before its arguments. These are the most common in Haskell, and the majority of functions we use will be prefix functions. We've seen an example of doing this before by using the built-in div function which takes two arguments and performs integer division. There is also a third place the function name can be placed, known as postfix. This is when the function name comes after all of its arguments. This is not used in Haskell at all, and so we can just ignore it. I'm just mentioning it for the sake of completeness. A cool feature of Haskell is that you can turn a prefix function into an infix one by surrounding the function name in backticks. Let's take a look at this. You can see here that the div function is placed between backticks, and it is also placed between the two arguments. F and J are equivalent. Which one you should do just comes down to the programming style and your preference. In this case, it might make sense to prefer the infix notation because you can now read the code like you would read division, 20 divided by 2. When the function only has two arguments, it can sometimes make it easier to read like in this case. But when there is more than two arguments, using backticks is rare. Let's take a look at the add three doubles function which we saw before. The function is quite simple, it just takes three doubles and returns the sum. In prefix notation we would call the function like so, nothing special. But with backticks, you have to wrap the invocation with the first two arguments in brackets and then provide the third argument. If we didn't do that, the compiler would complain. This is not as nice as when there are only two arguments, but I've just shown it to you so you can still see that it is possible to use backticks with functions that have more than two arguments. This video is a clip from a longer video for beginners starting with Haskell. Check that out if you would like to see all of the content. Also check out the entire Introduction to Functional Programming with Haskell course on the Learn channel. See you next time.